Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can read by the title right up there, this video is basically going to be the how-to foundation, concealer, powder, baking, bronzer, contour, blush, highlight, setting spray, the whole 9 or however many there is to a flawless face that you see here. I hope that you guys are able to enjoy this look, this face. Let's just hop right into the video. Hope you like it and you can learn something from it. And yeah, let's go. So I've showed you guys how to do brows, I've showed you guys how to do eyes, winged liner, lashes, and now it is time to get to the skin. So before you put anything on your face, you always want to make sure that you wash your face before, or if not, that you moisturize, that you just do your regular skincare routine, whatever it is that you have going on. A very specific step that I would highly recommend before you put on any type of makeup is moisturizing. So I moisturize with my Neutrogena Hydra Boost Water Gel. This is the moisturizer that I've been using. This is moisturizer that I swear by. I freaking love this. I personally have dry skin and I use this and I really like it. But sometimes if it's not enough for me, I would just go over top my really dry areas, which is my forehead and sometimes my T-zone. I would just go over that area with my Lush Skin Drink moisturizer, which I really love. And if you have dry skin, I really recommend that moisturizer because it is freaking amazing, literally, and it just gives you like this glow. Like on the days where I don't wear makeup and I just want a glow to my skin, I will literally just put that moisturizer on just the parts of my skin that I want to highlight, and it's literally like so freaking pretty. Anyways, now after you have moisturized, you always want to make sure that you are using a primer. So what primer is going to do is, it's not just going to make your makeup last longer and just prep your skin for even smoother and just better application overall, but primer also acts as a barrier between your skin and the makeup, which basically means that when you put on your foundation, BB cream, whatever face product it is that you're going to be putting on your skin, it's not going to go directly onto your skin and clog your pores and just break you out and be a disaster. Since you have applied primer before, the primer is going to act like a protective barrier, and also it's going to make your skin more hydrated or more mattified or smooth or shiny, dewy. Depends on whatever primer you use, depending on your skin type. The primer is going to do that. It's also going to protect your skin from clogged pores, more acne, or anything that you may be suffering from, because we don't want that. So the moisturizer that I'm going to be using today is targeted towards more dry skin, but honestly anybody could use this primer. I'm using the Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. This primer is really moisturizing. I really love it. It's awesome. I love Too Faced. So basically how I like to apply my primer is I would just pump it right here into my sponge and just apply it all over my face with my sponge. You can also put it on with your fingers, but I don't know, I just rather put it on with my sponge because I feel like it's less messy and I don't have to just stand up and like wash my hands like before starting my actual makeup, which was really annoying. Like if I ever apply something with my fingers, like I don't want to stand up and have to go to the bathroom and wash my hands and then continue on with my makeup, because I just want to do my makeup and get it done. So I've been applying it with my sponge lately. I feel like it gives me a nice even application. And hey, if you don't want to go and have to wash your hands or get a makeup wipe before you move on to your foundation, BB cream, or whatever it is that you're using, then just put it on with your sponge, a brush, whatever tool that you use. But you could also put it on with your fingers. This is just my personal preference. Now normally I would put on my primer before doing anything on my face. Like after I'm done with my skincare, I would put on my face primer and then go into brows, go into eyes, just to give the primer a little bit of time to set into my skin and not just be wet and then go in with the foundation right away. That is how I like to apply my primer, right before I do anything else, and then I will go on with brows and eyes or whatever order it is that I'm gonna do that day. But since I just applied it, I'm gonna wait for a couple minutes for it to dry, and then I'll come back and move into the foundation. Some steps that I do before foundation and that I also want to make you guys aware of are color correcting. So basically, if you have really dark under eye bags, or if you have a lot of redness like I do since I've been breaking out, or you know, any just discoloration that you may have, darkness, grayness, anything, it is really good to go in with a color corrector before you go in with your foundation. So I like to use this e.l.f. Stick. It's a color correcting stick. This is in the shade, actually it does not say a shade, it just says correct dark circles, light skin tone. Yep, I don't think it has a shade name, but it's just basically like a salmon orangey, kind of like a pinkish color, and this is great to just correct, you know, dark circles, dark spots, anywhere where you may have darkness. So I like to put this right under my eyes where I'm gonna put on my concealer later on. So I'll just slide that in there. Also, as you can see, I have this spot right here. This is actually from a pimple. I actually don't know, maybe this was like a cystic pimple, because I never get those. It was just like under my skin, like I could still feel like the little like hard like little ball under my skin. But basically, since that's really dark and I've been having like hard time covering it up with any other makeup, I would just go in there with my corrector. Also over the redness, I will go in with my corrector. Like basically any discoloration or redness, I would just go on top with my corrector, blend it out, and literally it'll just blend out like a dream. And this just helps to even out your skin tone overall, and just make sure that when you do put your foundation on, you don't have, you know, those dark spots or any grayness peeking through. Also around my mouth, I sometimes get, you know, that gray cast, so I also like to do it around my mouth. Lately, I actually haven't been using the stick. What I've been doing, and just find better sometimes, is to just take a full coverage foundation. This is the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation, and what I would do is just take a little bit of the foundation and literally just put it wherever it is that I'm having that redness or that discoloration, those blemishes, and literally, girl, this is so full coverage. It will cover it up. So that's another hack. If you don't have a corrector and you don't want to go get one, and you do have like a full coverage foundation, you could just put that on your problem areas if you don't want the whole face to be full coverage. Or if you're using a full coverage foundation anyways, then you shouldn't have to worry about that problem at all. And I'll just go ahead and take my sponge and just start blending everything out. Now that that is blended out, as you guys can see, some spots are still peeking through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little teeny tiny bit of that Kat Von D foundation I was telling you guys about. Literally one teeny tiny dot. And I'm just going to focus it right here in this area where I have this just darkness because of this pimple, and where I have that redness. And I'm just going to lightly just go ahead and put it over. And also where I see that I have some dark spots left over. And as you guys can see, I feel like on camera it looks like that covered it up completely, but in real life you can still see like a little bit of the shadow right here. Oh yeah, you guys can definitely see that right here. So it didn't quite cover it up completely, but it did do a good job covering it up. Like before, on the earlier days when I had this, and it was like red rather than like bluish, like a bruised like color that it just turned a couple like days ago. Before, it would like cover everything up like completely, and you wouldn't even be able to tell that that was there. But for some reason it just turned that weird grayish bluish color, and I just have not been able to cover it up. Now that I'm done blending that, on top I'm gonna be putting on my base for the day. I'm calling it a base because this isn't really a foundation. I'm going to be using the Milk Makeup Skin Tint today. So this is like a BB cream, CC cream, you could say. It's really a tint. I would say like kind of like a tinted moisturizer, but it does have like really nice coverage. And I don't like, you know, full coverage all over the face all the time. Like, I'm more of like a light girl. I like to let my skin breathe and just, you know, embrace even if I have darkness or anything. Obviously today I covered it up because, you know, I just didn't want that today. But yeah, I would normally just go for this. I freaking love this stuff. It doesn't feel heavy. It's light. This is literally my freaking exact like color. This is in the shade, what shade is this in? This is in the shade Honey. So if you're any type of close to my skin color, or basically my skin color, Honey in the Milk Makeup skin tint is going to be your exact freaking shade. Like, you guys don't get it. I was so super duper excited when I came into Sephora and the guy had just like swatched this on my face, and it literally was my exact shade. So this has like a kind of like a rollerball applicator. What I just did was put it on my sponge, and now I'm gonna be blending it out. You could also use a brush to apply your foundation, but I just rather using a sponge because I feel like it just gives me that airbrush, you know, nice finish from the get-go. And I don't have to put my foundation on with a brush and then go back in with a sponge like some other people do, you know. But honestly, whatever it is that you feel comfortable applying your foundation with, that's what you should go to. My base is on completely. I have the skin tint all over my face, blended out and everything. So now the next step would be concealer. I'm going to be using the Maybelline Master Conceal Concealer by Face Studio. I am in the shade 30 Light Medium. This concealer has amazing full coverage, and girl, like, let me tell you, I often prefer this as to my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer because I feel like that one is a lot. Like, I literally put the tiniest fucking dot on my face of Tarte Shape Tape, and it literally is just like, psh, like, I feel like I just need to put like a dot like this, like this of that concealer on my face. You know, it's easy to get carried away with it. The applicator is so big. It's so full coverage. It goes such a long way. And, you know, it's just, you know, it dries like matte. It's not drying under my eye, but I just like the feel of this one better sometimes when I'm going for, you know, a lighter coverage look and just kind of like a more natural look, if you know what I'm saying. So this is a great concealer. It's from drugstore. It's amazing. So what I would do is literally take that. It's not focusing, but literally take that teeny tiny amount of concealer on my sponge and then go into my under eye and start blending that out in kind of like a triangle motion. And excuse the faces, but you just have to make these faces when you're putting on concealer, you know. Like, if you're not making these faces when you're putting on concealer, did you really put on concealer? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to do the ugly face. So I make sure that it's as blended and creaseless as possible. And then what I would do, I don't go and do the other eye. No, girly, no. I take my brush and I make sure I just tap in there. Just tap, tap, tap to dry it out a little bit. Take some powder, then tap, tap, tap. Sometimes I would bake. Lately I have not been baking because I just feel like it's not necessary. But I'm just going to take some powder and bake. I took way more than what I wanted to take, so this kind of already just turned into baking without me wanting it to turn into baking. But hey, it's fine. It's okay. And while that is setting and powdered, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other eye. So I just really like to make sure that my concealer is not going to crease, that it's all set, and that, you know, it's just good to go before I go into the other eye. That's just how I do it. Okay, that's just how I do it. So now that I'm done with my other eye concealer, I'm just going to take my clean powder brush. Yes, it has some powder residue on it, okay, but I have not added more powder. That's why I'm calling it a clean powder brush. And I'm just gonna go all over my face, kind of like set, even though I didn't put powder on this, but I'm just gonna go all over my face, okay, in this tapping motion and setting it, especially in my forehead, girl. I don't want to be shiny. Okay, and now I'm gonna just go ahead and dust off that powder from under my eyes. And again, just patting the brush to set my whole face. So I basically use that powder that I swiped off to set the rest of my face, you know. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Is that the saying? I don't freaking know. And my face foundation concealer is done. So moving on with the rest of the face. First of all, let me close this concealer because we don't want no spills. Okay, honey? Okay. So at this point, I would feel comfortable to just take a setting spray and lightly spritz my face real quick, because I feel pretty powdery and I don't want my makeup to turn out cakey or anything. So I'm just taking my e.l.f. Active Post-Workout Cool Down Mist, which can also be used as a makeup mist and all that stuff. Aretha packaging, girl. And I'm just going to spritz my face real quick. Just like so. Fan it out a little bit with my hands. Literally not a lot of spray, just a little bit. So that now we are able to move on with the powders. So first thing that I'm gonna do is bronze. So for bronzer, you really just, you know, want to warm up the face, okay? You do not want to contour with bronzer. Bronzer and contour are not the same thing. Now let me explain to you the difference a little bit and show you what bronzer and contour are all about. So bronzer, you basically just use, this just fell out, it was broken anyway. Bronzer you use to warm up your face. You don't use it to define, you just use to add warmth into your face. I'm using Milani Soleil bronzer, by the way, with like a little angled contour brush. And what I would do is go, like I see right here, this is the top of my ear. So the contour, I would put it right at the top of my ear, on my forehead, top of my ear, on my jawline, and even on my nose to warm things up a little bit. This is what bronzer does. I'm just starting up right here and bronzing my face. Also, I like to pat it, you know, on my hairline on the way up to my forehead, and then just blend like so. So bronzer goes a little bit higher than contour, because contour now is shadow, contour is shape, contour is carving out. So for contours, you want to look chiseled, you want to look sunken in. Bronzer, you just want to look, you know, not pale, not like Casper the Friendly Ghost, okay? We are trying to have a little bit of color on our face and just adding back the color that the foundation washed out of our face, okay? This is the purpose of bronzer. So bronzer would go higher up right here, like right where your earlobe starts, and then contour would go right at the middle of your ear. So bronzer right here, contour right here, middle of your ear, where the hollow of your cheek is. So if I do a fish face, okay, I'll go like this. As you can see, by following my regular, just like line structure, bone structure thing, when I suck in my cheeks, there's this line. Here is the hollow of my cheek, right at the center of my ear. This is where you want to put the contour, and higher, you know, higher up, you want to put the bronzer. Just kind of add a little bit of color, you know, not too much, not too little, just enough. And the bronzer, as you see, is also going to act as like a transition shade for your contour to, you know, work. Because yes, you could go in with plain contour and it will work fine, but just when you have that bronzer in there, that gives it like that nice radiant, and then your contour is going to, you know, just blend out much better and look, you know, really nice. Because hey, you put your bronzer before, and then the contour has something to kind of, you know, like blend into, and your face is gonna look, you know, nice, okay? It's gonna look nice. On some days, I would just put on bronzer and I would just put it in the hollow of my cheek and then just, go at it and, just not contour basically. Makeup, yes, it has rules, but girl, makeup is makeup. Break the rules, okay? Everything that I'm saying on this video is just how things are. I don't even want to say this way, how things are supposed to be done, but it's basically the correct way, and I'm air quoting it because there's no correct way to makeup, okay? This is basically what people say, hey, this is how it should be, this is how it should go. This is what I've heard some people of the YouTube booty community say, not bashing them. Hey, everybody does things however they, want. Basically, this is the correct way to do makeup, but I'm just saying that, hey, makeup has no rules, girl. You could break the rules. You could, like, freaking contour with your bronzer. I've done it, I'm just saying that, hey, if you want to do this, properly, again, very strong emphasis on those air quotes. Please, nobody get offended, okay? If you want to do makeup properly or how it should be done, then this is just what I'm trying to portray. I'm not saying that I do my makeup like this. Yes, sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. Honestly, most of the time, I contour with bronzer, and then I'm like, I'm fine, I don't even need contour, Sometimes I do bronzer, and then I do contour on top. I'm just showing you that way, and just the way that, it should be done. Again, should be. Air quotes, okay? So, for my nose, I just take, like, the tip of that brush, slide it through the contour, slide it through the bronzer palette, and just very loosely, literally very loosely, just go in and just create a line, and then underneath my nose, and then just kind of like try to create a little button nose effect. And that's how I freaking it looks really messy. That's how I would contour my nose, or not even contour, bronze my nose lightly, and then I would just go over it with a powder brush because that was a little bit too harsh. Then going with the bigger one, kind of like blend that out. And then, I have some definition on my nose. Obviously, I'm going to fix it later. You guys are going to see. But that's just kind of like how I messily apply contour. I messily apply bronzer on my nose. Okay, now we're moving on to contour. So for contour, I'm going to use my Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. This is my freaking favorite thing ever to contour with. Freaking OG. So you could also take like an angled contour brush to do this, but I like going in with my fan brush. Okay, this is a really big fan brush, and I love going in with my fan brush for contouring. So basically, since you want to create a shadow, I would go in with this kind of like grayish, very cool tone shade, okay? Bronzer is supposed to be warm and add warmth to the face. Contour, as you can see, all these three shades, yes, this is lighter, this is medium, this is dark, but they are all cool tones because for your contour, it's a shadow, and shadows are cool tones, so hey, this is on the grayer, cool tone side. If your contour powder is warm on your skin tone, honey, that is not a contour powder, that is a bronzer, okay? Just letting you know the difference. You could contour with that, do whatever you want, but the difference between contour and bronzer is warm, meant to go higher up in the face, meant to bring warmness back in. Now contour is cool tone, it's gray toned, and it's supposed to go on the hollows and add shadow and make you look snatched, okay? So this is how I do it. I take a mixture of these first two shades, add just 1, 2, 1, 2 right there, go like that, do that motion, and basically just suck and do a little fish face and put it on the hollow of my cheek. So just like this. So as you guys can see, I'm going right there in the middle of my ear. So I'm not taking it up. That's where bronzer goes. I'm going right here in the middle, in the hollow of my cheek. And girl, you want to blend whatever you're blending, contour or bronzer, you want to blend it up. Okay, because if you blend it down, that's just going to drag your face down, and you're not going to look as snatched as, as you want to look, okay? So you always want to make sure that you blend it up. So after I'm done, you know, applying it on that certain area, I go in with my brush and I swoop upwards just to make sure that it's blended nice and it's blended upwards. Now with the little leftover that I have on my brush, I would go in to my temples, basically the sides of my forehead, and that would do for that. But then when it comes to doing the other cheek, I would dip again, 1 2 1 2, dust the brush off, and literally same exact thing, just going into the hollow of that cheek, making sure that is, you know, just right where we want it, that it's adding some depth and definition. If I feel like I need more, I would go back in and add more product, and then go in and blend everything upwards. Go into that temple with the leftover product, you know, making our way into the forehead, blending up. And now when it's time to go in, ooh, girl, you see that? Ooh. Now when it's time to go into my jawline, same thing, 1 2, dip in again, and then go right in here. Sometimes I will also just go in here, but I don't really do that anymore. I just go like right here, dip in again for the other side, and with my big old fan brush, hit that jawline, basically. And now, as you can see, my face looks more snatched. Or at least it's supposed to. Anyways, now for my forehead, I would go in and take these two colors. So the medium one and then the darker one. Because my forehead is the darkest part of my face. So I just really love to bring that warmth back into my forehead. So I'm just going in the middle of my forehead and just really just blending that down. Make sure everything just kind of like blends down and nice how I want it to. Now, if it looks a little bit too dark, girl, don't be afraid. Just take, you know, a regular powder brush that you haven't dipped, you know, any powder on. And now if you feel like you need to, you know, put some powder on the brush to kind of like, you know, lighten it up a little bit, then go ahead. I would just kind of like take my powder brush and just like tap, tap, tap a little bit. And if it looks a little bit messy, you know, under my cheekbones, because, or under the hollow of my cheeks, because, you know, I use the fan brush, it's really messy. Literally, this is what I do every single time to clean it up. Take a whole bunch of powder and just like a pretty, just precise brush, and I would just bake. You guys are my mirror right now, so I would just whoop, add powder literally right there to bake. And then once I wipe that powder off my face, I'm gonna have a sharp line and it's gonna look great. There we go. Oh, they're not even. I try to make them as, oh no girl, that's really high. Oh no, that's bad. I try to make them even. Obviously, girl, that was not even, so I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe this off right now. See if we could save her or not. We could save her. Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time, actually looking in my mirror this time and not my viewfinder. Okay, so basically that's, this is slower than, y'all get the point. Just try to make it even and try to do it like below the middle of your ear, not like exactly at the middle, because then you're just gonna mess up all that contour that you did. So let me actually freaking like wipe this out of my face. Oh no, that contour is basically gone. And then whoop. Okay, there you go, that's better, something like that. And then your contour should be right here and your bronzer is up top. I kind of messed up, but hey, it's okay. It's okay. I know how to do it, okay? I promise. I just exactly, you know, the day that I film it is the day where, you know, I flop. It's okay though, it's okay. And obviously, of course, I have so much freaking powder on my black shirt. On my black shirt. Literally on my black shirt. And honestly, you do not need to leave this on for too long. I would typically just leave it on. Like put this, then wipe off, like literally instantly, or just like let it sit in for like 1 or 2 minutes. You really don't have to like bake. Under here, I just put the powder in there to clean it up, because then, you know, if anything, you have like real sharp line and then it looks kind of weird. And I don't like to have those, so I would just dust that off. And now that I feel pretty powdery again, I feel like it's time for another mist. So going in with that same setting spray, especially focusing it on this area where we just put a whole bunch of powder, and, you know, just spritz in the face. Once again, spritz in the face. Doesn't have to be a lot. Please do not go overboard with this. Just very lightly, you know, spritz the face. I feel like I need a little bit more in this area where I just baked, but that's all right. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and do my blush. I'm gonna show you guys how I do blush. I'm gonna be using my Milani Luminoso blush because I actually have not used this blush in a pretty long time, and I wanted to use it. I wanted to switch up my blush because I've been using kind of like the same color blush, like the same blush like all the time, so I wanted to switch it up. So I'm taking yet another angled contour brush. This could also be an angled blush brush, whatever you want to use it for. This is a different one. I use this one for my contour, the dark one, and then the light one for my blush, so then I don't, you know, get them confused. Basically the same brush. They're both by Morphe. Freaking love Morphe brushes. So basically how I do my blush, obviously, like, take some blush. Girl, don't take too much though. I'm the type of person that I don't like looking like a clown, okay? I don't like that very strong blush. I just like, you know, a nice subtle blush. So every time I dip in, I make sure to dust it off, okay? Because I don't want it too strong on my face, okay? So, wow, I literally just dropped the brush. The way that I apply blush is this. I start from my hairline and work my way into the apple of my cheek. You could start from the apple of your cheek and blend back. You could start, you know, in the middle, wherever you want, but this is how I do it because I like a very light, you know, not harsh, just kind of like more natural blush look. If you want a more rosy cheek look, then you could obviously, you know, start from the apple of your cheek, but I just like starting from my hairline and blending my way down to the bottom of to the apple of my cheek, okay? So starting in the back, do you see how this was pretty strong? So if I would have applied here, this intensity would be right here, and I don't want that. So I always start from my hairline and blend my way into the apple of my cheek, just like that. And I feel like that way it also is just gonna melt in and blend in to the contour and the bronzer, and it's just gonna look, you know, even just more natural, way better, even if it is pretty harsh back here. And then again, just take a little bit of blush, tap off the excess, start from the hairline and work my way to the apple of my cheek, and then just basically in a tapping motion, blending back and forth. And if I feel like it's too much, I would just again go in with my plain powder brush and just go over the whole thing and just kind of like dial it down a little. And that's how I would do my blush. And I just realized that I totally forgot to show you guys how I do my nose contour. I totally just skipped that part. Okay, where's my nose contour brush? First of all, girl, oop, I see it. It's right here. Okay, so I use this crease shadow brush from Revlon that I got at Walmart. It's basically like a tapered eyeshadow crease brush. And what I do for my nose basically is I go into the lightest shade. So I go into this one, just literally tap the littlest tiny bit and then dust it off because you don't want this too harsh into the tip of the brush. Then I would just, you know, create two lines. So one line I kind of like to start like in the middle of the bridge of my nose, so then I can easily, you know, just blend down and also blend up into my brow and the crease of my eye, so that, you know, it does not look way too harsh, because obviously where you first apply it is going to look really harsh, and I really want the definition on the bridge of the nose, the middle of the bridge, so that, you know, it snatches the nose and makes it look more slender. So the closer your two lines are together, the more slender and skinny your nose is going to look. So I like to, you know, put my lines like one right here and then the other one right next to it, so that the lines are as close to each other as possible, and so that my nose looks as slender and as snatched as possible. Start from the middle of the bridge, blend that kind of like into my brow, the crease of my brow, to make it look natural and like my nose is actually this shape. Sometimes I will skip this and not blend it into my brow. Sometimes I will. It honestly depends on the day, but I feel like when you do, like right now that I did, it looks like way more natural and like your nose is actually like shaped like that. So after I get down enough, I would just go right here on the bottom to kind of like cut that off, and then would go right here, draw like a little line with the leftover contour powder that I have on my brush to kind of like create that button nose effect. So then this area of the nose just kind of like sticks out. And then with your highlight, when you're highlighting your nose, I would really recommend, you know, if you obviously want your nose to look as skinny as possible, to take the tiniest little brush. This is the brush that I use for my brow bone highlight and for my nose highlight. It's a lip brush. It's literally the smallest brush that I freaking have. I use this brush to create a very thin line on down the bridge of my nose of highlight, and then the button nose. That's what I use it for. And then my nose looks extra snatched, because obviously you could snatch it with the contour with the bronzer, but that highlight is really what is gonna like pop when people look at your nose. So if you apply just highlight all over, or just like a really like thick line of highlight on the bridge of your nose, and girl, that's just gonna mess up your whole nose contour, okay? I'm just warning you. Very skinny line of highlight to help that illusion out and make your nose look even more snatched. Okay, so now we're literally down to the last step for our face makeup. Or the last two. Okay, last two. Which are setting spray and where is it? Setting spray and highlight, girl. Setting spray and highlight. Okay, so I'm gonna be using two highlights today, okay? Maybelline Master Chrome Highlight Molten Gold and Wet n Wild Mega Glow in Golden Flower Crown. This is like my freaking new favorite freaking highlight, and this gold is just so beautiful. So I'm gonna put this one on first and then put this one on top and see how they both react and work together. So before I even do my last spritz of setting spray, I always have to make sure that my highlighters are open and my highlighting brush or brushes are out and ready to go. So the setting spray that I'm going to be using for my very last spritz and just to set everything on my face in place is going to be the Milani Make It Last 16-Hour Wear Setting Spray. This is going to mattify things. It's going to make sure things are set, and I just freaking love this. Like, it's sprays is such a fine mist, girl. If you're looking for a cheap setting spray and a good one, get this one. It mattifies, but it doesn't leave your face feeling so overwhelmingly tight. And that's what I love about it. Like, I feel that my face, you know, is obviously like drying, and like, yeah, it feels a little teeny tiny bit, you know, like your face is drying for a second, but then after that, it literally, your face feels like normal. You know, it doesn't feel dry, it doesn't feel like, it feels perfect. So this is what I like to, you know, just set everything in place, and so that my skin does not get, you know, too oily or, you know, too shiny or anything. I will use this because I know my makeup is already, you know, very nice, very natural looking and dewy. So I'm just gonna set it with the spray, because then, girl, when I start, you know, my oils just start breaking through, you know, it just looks too much, too dewy, too oily, too no. So in order to prevent that, I just use the setting spray, which is really good. So I'm gonna use that right now. That mist feels so freaking good. And it smells really good too. It smells really nice. Really, really nice. Okay. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take my fan brush and dig into my Maybelline Molten Gold highlighter. And girl, just give her a go. You wanna highlight at the very top of your cheekbones. Girl, do you see that? Of course you do. Of course you do. So this is where, you know, you would highlight. You could obviously also add highlight to your nose, your chin, your cupid's bow, your underneath your eyebrows, aka your brow bone. I forgot how to say that. Your forehead, even some people add forehead highlight. I don't like that at all. I like my forehead not to be shiny. And also in an inner corner highlight as well. I like going in with a fan brush first. Now I'm gonna go into Golden Flower Crown. I like to go in with a fan brush because I just feel like that gives me the most natural highlighted look. It doesn't make my highlight just look like one strip of highlight is on my face or a line of highlight, but I just really like how the fan brush blends the highlight. Like, I just really like it. Like, as you guys can see, it looks really natural. It doesn't look like one thick line or one skinny line. No, like, I really like how the fan brush blends the highlight right into the skin, and it just gives you like a very nice, just glowy, natural, you know what I'm saying, effect to the highlight. I really like that. Now, if I want to like really like blind in a certain specific area, I would take this brush. It doesn't have a name. It's by Morphe Sculpt and Define Set. Freaking my favorite. I would just take this kind of like concealer brush and just pat the highlight in that specific area that I would want it to blind. But since I feel like this highlight is, girl, already blinding enough, like, I'm so in love with this combo, I'm not even gonna use that. I'm not. So now for the inner corners, I'm gonna use my teeny bitty tiny lip brush and just go ahead and highlight my inner corners with this. For my inner corner highlight on my eyes, I really like to go light with this. I don't like a super, like, sometimes on the inner corner of my eyes it could just be a lot, and I just rather keep it very natural in that area rather than, you know, like just highlighter all over the place. So I like to be really careful to not get highlighter everywhere on my inner corner. I just, you know, like to place it strategically, very little, and then, you know, if I want more, then build it up. So right now I'm also gonna go ahead into my Cupid's bow. I'm just going in with that Maybelline highlighter first, and then I'm gonna top it off with my oh my gosh, what's the name, with my Wet n Wild highlighter. If anything, I just take a clean brush and swipe, just, you know, blend that out. And for the nose, like I said, you want a very thin line. You don't want anything too crazy. If it's sometimes too much for my nose, I would just tap it with my finger, tap the excess away, and that will work out. And then right here, I want that very nice just button nose effect. So I'm just going in and putting the highlight in a circle type shape there on my nose, and also tapping it just so that it's not too much. Because I also, you know, in pictures, I don't like for, you know, me to be like this and then boop, like that, the only thing that pops out. Freaking my little button nose. Like, yes, it's cute and whatever, but I also don't want her to be too much, okay? Also, I'm just gonna go in with my finger under my brow bone, just kind of blend things out, make them look more natural and stuff. And yep, I'm done. Oh wait, I totally forgot to tell you guys about this hack. So if you want the appearance of fuller lips, you could take your contour powder or cream contour stick, whatever it is, and literally just with a tiny little brush, just go right under your lips. And what this is going to do is this is going to create a shadow. So it's going to make your lips look fuller and plumper, and like they're, you know, sticking out more, you know, more poutier, you know what I'm saying? You could do this like right in this area, or I just kind of tend to like do it right here and kind of like around as well, because I don't know, I just like that. And look, it literally looks like I have fuller, more plump lips with no surgery. These ain't no Kylie Jenner's. Even though I am wearing a lip kit lip liner. I'm wearing my freaking favorite color ever, Dolce lip liner, and I just mix that in with a little bit of Baby Lips chapstick, this one. So I put the chapstick on and then I line my lips and fill it in, and that's my favorite freaking lip color. I don't even use like the liquid lipstick because I love the lip liner so much. Hopefully this video helped you guys, whether it was a little or a lot. I hope that you guys were able to learn something new from this, or even just enjoy. I just hope that you guys love, you know, this tutorial, this video on how to achieve a flawless face. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching and again sticking with me. And does that conclude this series? Because I know we did brows, we did eyes. Well, I literally finished the whole full face in this video. I mean, if you don't know how to apply, like, I don't know, like, I feel like everybody knows how to apply lipstick. I feel like that is it for this series. I literally covered everything from the face, and I already did the brows and the eyes in previous videos. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll do, like, one with cream contour or something. I don't know, okay, you guys? This might have just been the last episode of the series, Makeup for Beginners, everything you need to know. But anyways, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you like this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more makeup videos, vlogs, just things about my life. And yeah, if you want to watch my last video, click right here. If you want to watch something else, click right here. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel by clicking the red button down there, or my face right up here. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.